Hey, this is Adam with the Solar Truth. Welcome again. I am back talking about NEM 3.0. So I've gotten a lot of feedback and comments and questions on my recent video talking about that. And I wanted to clarify a few things, show kind of my background calculations of how I got the information and the numbers that I did. And also talk about how solar can still work even if this happens. And what we're going to need to do that. And then, a lot of people are commenting about off-grid, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, like how we can possibly go completely off-grid, but it is fairly difficult. So right now, the CPUC, January 27th is the vote date for this bill, and then there's going to be a 4-month period where people can still get NEM 2.0 if the system is installed, gets a final permit, and gets permission to operate from the utility before that date, 4 months after it's voted on. And I've heard a lot of people say it's going to be instant. A lot of people say it's going to be 2 months, 6 months, whatever. No, like in CPUC website, it is 4 months after that. So I mean, there's no guarantees in anything here really till the final vote and documentation is there. But that's what it is saying at the moment. And you can check that out. Also, I definitely recommend going to the links on the videos. I'll post these links again. There is a rally on January 13th in LA and San Francisco to try to stop this from happening. You can email Newsom, just click send on that link, and the more emails we get, maybe the better it'll be. And we're looking at 65,000 jobs that will be lost if this passes the way it is right now. And really the only people this is good for is PG&E and others. And even though you're emailing him, he's probably like, yeah, it's good for me too, because I just got $1 billion payment from them or something to pass this. But so anyway, let's go into the calculations here and a new chart I made that's simpler, I think, that's going to show like really what's going to happen if you don't get NEM 2.0 and if you get solar next year or the following 5 years. So first of all, NEM history, every 5% it's jumping. Your grandfather in for 20 years, which might be 15 now, is one of the changes. And NEM 2 was great and not as good quite as NEM 1.0, but things just keep getting worse and worse. So my chart last time was, I admit, a little complex because this is complicated. A lot of numbers here, different average bills. So what I'm trying to do now is simplifying that down, and then you got that 10-year credit that you get that steps down 25% a year. So without a battery, here's my new chart. But really, we're just looking at these first two bars here, these first two columns. And the significant changes are highlighted in yellow. So NEM 2.0, the reason that was and still is for a little while so great is because your cost over 25 years from the utility is going to be pretty substantial doing nothing. So at a 7%, but this is at a 7% increase. Solar companies are more conservative with like 4 to 6%. That's like more nationwide. California is higher. Even during COVID last year, it was 15%. During COVID, we had a 15% increase. And the minimum, so these changes here, number one, you only have $0 for, there's no solar tax, there's also no solar credit, and the total cost, is your PV cost plus your utility bill. So there is two differences here. Cash is different than payments. You don't have both, you either do a cash system and have an ROI, and you're going to save a little bit more over the long run, or you finance it and you have monthly cost. So then your total monthly costs are only this high with financing your solar. If you do cash, you would subtract the financing cost. But anyway, so I put those two ways to do it in here. And notice your utility bill without a battery goes up substantially with NEM 3.0 because you're only getting 5 cents credit now, or about 75 to 80% less than you used to. So what that means is you're only getting solar energy while you're using it, like air conditioning and stuff, but your solar system, main production is from 10 to 4 p.m., and it's producing enough energy daily to cover the whole year of usage. So that means a lot of that usage, a lot of that times your meter is spinning backwards, about 40% of the time on average, or 50 to 60% of that time on average. So your meter's spinning backwards a lot when you don't even realize it. You're not home, air conditioning's not on, or it's just producing more either way than you're using during those times, because it's also producing for your nighttime usage. So whenever it's spinning backwards, you're only getting 25% credit about. So anyway, you're still going to be billed on a lot of that other usage at night and stuff, especially if you have electric cars or something. There's a lot of variables here. So this is like a very kind of simple example actually of kind of an average. But if you're most of your usage at night, charging electric cars and doing all kinds of other stuff at night, then you definitely need a battery, and a big battery. And solar's your bill's not even going to change much, because if you're not using much when the solar is actually producing the power. So then NEM 3.0, you have the solar tax, the $8. You also have a credit that steps down each year. And then your total monthly cost would be, your utility bill, the financing, the solar tax, minus the credit, and that's how you get those numbers. So NEM 2 is a lot simpler, obviously, and initial savings are not very much with the battery. You are going to have long-term savings as the bill rates keep rising. You will save money over the long term, but less than half of what it used to be. So now let's look at a battery, and this is net savings as well, so it's minus the cost of the PV. With the battery, notice the numbers are all pretty much the same, except the PV, the system cost goes up because of the battery, and your utility bill doesn't increase as much because of the battery. So those are the two main changes that end up changing these numbers below here too. So if we look at these first two columns again, NEM 2 is the same. You don't need a battery. I mean, you could get it. It'll help a little bit. Really, what a battery does with NEM 2.0 is from 4 to 9 p.m. you can discharge the power, and you could do a little bit smaller solar system, or you could use more power and you'll still save a little bit, but not as much as the battery is costing. So if you get power outages, great. It's still beneficial. But with NEM 3.0, you really do want a battery and focus on the long-term savings, because now your long-term savings is going up substantially. And even if the increase is only 4%, you still will net save money with battery and a solar, especially if they do have some kind of battery rebate, which it sounds like they might as well. The changes here is and about over $200 is where it makes sense to get a battery in the future. Under $200, maybe a smaller solar system, 60%. That's what a lot of states are doing that don't have net energy metering. They do a 60% solar system just to get that 10 to 4 time production and not waste a bunch of meter spinning backwards where you get nothing out of that. And then it won't cost as much up front either, and it's just a simpler, smaller system to help you and offset at least your daily production your daily usage when the solar is working. The other option is doing this and do about 110% system with a battery, and then it stores that energy, so you have a less of a utility bill, and then you have more savings long term, and you can still save a fairly significant amount of money over 25 years, especially if the utility company increases even more. Basically, solar can definitely still work. I mean, hopefully it doesn't change how it is. I mean, hey, just stop having the solar charge for low-income people, get rid of the solar tax, and there we go. That's reasonable. I can deal with that. But this solar tax is just really frustrating. And to show you all my numbers, how I got this is 4% calculation here, increasing that $250 bill. Then I have a 7% increase, and 7% is called the law of tens in investments. And every 10 years, your bill basically doubles, or if an investment, your savings doubles. So, your bill goes up substantially, either way, 4 to 7%, either way, it's going up a lot, and it always has been. But you can see how big these numbers are. Like, this is 25 years right there, 124,000 versus 189. So that is a significant difference. That's where a battery might be the only thing that saves you money if it's only 4% increase. But honestly, once this is locked in, it'll probably be more than 7%. They'll probably just be increasing the rates like crazy, because now they can do whatever they want, because solar doesn't help as much as it used to. And then I have just a bunch of different numbers here. And this is for my back end use. It's not pretty looking, but the battery the rebate you're getting for having solar, not battery, but just the rebate, those are the step down numbers there. Tax credit going down, and then all the savings calculations. These are all just automatically calculated, is what I did here, with and without a battery, converted into this chart. And going off grid, is that a great solution? Well, not really. It can be, but the people that go, we do a ton of fully off-grid systems. I help with a lot of them, but that we're talking about cabins out in the woods, no air conditioning, swamp coolers, no electric cars, no electric heating. That is off-grid. You have a fireplace, you have a wood-burning stove. You got to change your lifestyle to go completely off-grid. I don't really know anybody that out of thousands and thousands of systems that lives in a track house or a large mansion type house, track to anywhere within there, that even mobile manufactured, you still have air conditioning, and now you have an inefficient house and all that. So anyway, the problem with completely off grid, in the winter your solar system is producing half as much energy as in the summer. You now need twice as big of a solar system at least, especially if you have electric heating and your bill's actually higher in the winter at your usage. And you need a really big battery system to make sure you have enough to store all that solar energy and then have it for when it's raining for 3 to 5 days. And you also need a backup generator. Are you allowed to have one where you live? Is there enough room in your backyard along the fence or whatever to put it? If it's a track home, all those complications are in there. So, it ends up normally being about 3 to 5 times the cost to totally off-grid system versus even a system with a normal battery. So it's significantly more. And we're getting there. I'm working on that, but most of the time it's going to cost a lot, or you're going to have to change your lifestyle significantly, and it's still going to be 2 to 3 times the cost. So I'm going to do a video soon on totally off-grid. Maybe I'll even set my track house up to be totally off-grid, because might be on NEM 3.0 because I only have a couple years left if it drops down to 15-year grandfather. So, all right, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, want me to do any other analysis videos. I'm going to do some more stuff on electric cars, how much solar you need, depending on how much you're driving and stuff like that. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Make sure to vote and try to stop this from happening, or at least to the extent that it is right now. And I will see you guys next time on The Solar Truth.